Welcome to English for academic and professional purposes. This is our module number 7 for week number 9, and it's all about writing a concept paper. What is a concept paper and how to write a concept paper? We're going to discuss this in this subject matter or for this week. And my name is Sir Castillo, your teacher for this subject. Now, for the learning objectives, at the end of this lesson, you will understand the structure of a concept paper, and even the definition, and appreciate the importance and usage of writing a concept paper, and also to write a simple concept paper, or just to identify a simple concept paper. Alright, so now let's define what is a concept paper. It is a summary or overview of the project and helps funding agencies eliminate proposals that are likely to be disapproved. So, ito yung I think just 1 to 3 pages of your proposal. Probably the ideal is 1, and then it includes about the background of your study, your proposal, your project, and the rationale, the budget, and this is not the final or the expanded proposal. This is just the concept. Yeah, from the word concept, sinasummary niya lang yung projects or issues that reflects the interest, experiences, expertise of the writer or organization. So concept papers generally serve the purpose of providing in-depth discussion of a topic that the writer has a strong position on. Okay, so this is just a writing of the whole proposal. Okay, or pwede rin itong natawag nating pinakang niya. Sa Tagalog nga is konsepto. Ano ba yung kabuuan? Para magkaroon ng interest sa reader, at least bigyan mo na siya ng pahapiyaw or glimpse of what is the project's all about, and then all the summary ay included doon. Okay, so now, furthermore, the term concept paper and proposal are often used interchangeably. Akala natin pareha sila, yung concept paper at saka yung proposal. Minsan ginagamit sila as if they are synonymous to one another, as they can be used for the same function. The concept paper may also be as an instructional tool that may have developed as a result of extensive research, committee input, or as a result of the outcome of a current project. In addition to providing guidance for implementation of a program, a concept paper could also discuss best practices, philosophies, and other related issues that the writer believes action should be taken on in the near future. So, what is the writing implications of concept paper? Number 1, all factual claims and definitions are our natural attempts to try to determine what something is, to describe, to categorize, and to test what we see in relation to what we already know, because we encounter so many things in our daily lives. However, this process of defining becomes almost automatic. Indeed, we're often mostly unaware that we do it. So, another one, in writing, however, you will not always be able to assume that all of your readers share the same understanding of the facts of the things are. Indeed, some of the most controversial arguments in our culture today revolve around the inability of people to agree on essential definitions. So, here's the steps on how to write a concept paper. There are steps to concept paper writing that are universal, that can be applied in most situations in order to develop the boilerplate or standard templates of concept papers that can be personalized and submit on specific guidelines. So, even though that there's no strict or absolute format, meaning to say na isang format lang ang concept paper, even though wala siyang ganun, but there's of course a universal guidelines or instructions pagdating sa concept paper. Ibig sabihin yung kahit na different kinds or kahit na despite of the creativity, nandun pa rin yun, nagagamit pa rin yun sa lahat ng klase ng concept paper. So first and probably most important, the writer must know the mission, the requirements, and other specific information about the target audience. Kailangan niya. Kailangan mong malaman para saan ba tong inaaral mo? Para saan ba tong research mo? Para saan ba tong business mo? Sino ba yung makikinabang sa business mo? Sino yung target audience mo? Sino yung readers mo? Okay? So, that's a concept paper. At first, kailangan malinaw na malinaw sa iyong mission or the background of the study or the rationale. If not, then completely dun pa lang mamimislead mo yung readers mo. Kaya kailangan ikaw ay malinaw sa iyo para sa nitong paper mo. At sino yung makikinabang ng paper mo. The second step would be to summarize the paper by stating the problem to discuss or solve, the goal of the paper, the objectives, the anticipated outcomes, procedures for determining whether the goals and objectives have been achieved. So, after knowing the mission of your work, kailangan mong malaman, masummarize yung main objectives mo, your specific objectives, even your procedures, okay? Paano mo magagawin to? At ultimately, kailangan alam mo yung problema, okay? What is the real problem? Because if you cannot pinpoint the real problem, then you are providing a solution that is not really applicable to the real problem, okay? So, kailangan mo yung ma-identify, okay? So, ano ba ang problema? Okay? Ano ba yung kailangan? Kung ito ay business proposal, business concept paper, ano ba yung kailangan ng tao? Ng mga customers, ng mga kliyente? Okay? So, objectives, specific and general objectives, and even procedure kung paano mo ito gagawin, at yung anticipated outcomes, okay? Commonly, table to ginagawa para kita mo na kagad, okay? Dito yung activity, objectives, dito yung materials, procedure, and then outcomes, okay? Yung produkto, yung resulta. And lastly, the writer must develop a list of references that discuss the concept to which the paper will be directed. So, references. Ibig sabihin mga authors. It is supported by the authors, a lot of theories or studies sa thesis. Ito yung review-related literature. Okay? So, kailangan, ito ay pinag-aralan talaga. Hindi lang siya based on your own assumption and personal observation, but is also supported by the experts through references. Okay, quotation, study, reveals, this shows that this supported by, so mga ganun po. And guidelines in writing the concept paper, basic qualities. The definition is sufficiently inclusive and exclusive. Emphasizes only relevant aspect, classes, and applications. Letter C, the concept is defined, described, and analyzed in clear language and syntax. Hindi yung sobrang mong gumagamit ka ng highfalutin words. You are so technical that only you can understand. So the goal of the concept paper, even the least person with having a high educational attainment or with an average learner can understand your paper. The language, the syntax, and the semantics, the sentences, the words, and the construction. Alright, so the topic no longer seems complex due and to its being broken down into parts. So, kita-kita mo na. Broken into parts na. Hindi siya paragraph form na lahat pinagsama mo na doon. So, kitang-kita na kung paano mo siya binreak down. The concept is discussed clearly and specifically such that the reader should be able to relate the concept to his or her own experience. So, kailangan ganun. Kaya nga napakalaga ng target audience eh. Okay, kung alam yung problema nila, makaka-relate sila. But if you do not have the time to identify their real problem, then hindi sila makaka-relate. Okay? So, kailangan relatable if there's such word. Okay, so the supplement on definition, karagdagan lang. So, the purpose, to clarify or correct misinterpretation or misuse of its conventional or consensual meaning of a term, which is its usual or generally accepted meaning. Dictionary explanations exemplify this purpose. Okay? To stimulate the meaning of a term by limiting, extending, or redirecting the reference or sense in which the term is commonly understood or to use in special way. A term borrowed from another field of knowledge to suit the special meaning intended in the field in which it is made to apply. Nangyari business, hanap ba ng term sa business? Business terminology. If your business is all about medicine, hiram ka ng mga technical terms from the medical terms. Okay? If that is about structures, you borrow words from the engineers, from the architects, and so on and so forth. Okay? So, several uses. First, it serves as the foundation of the full proposal. Ito yung gamit ng concept paper. Hindi siya yung mismong full proposal, but it is the foundation. Okay? It is the summary. It is the capsule format. Pinaliit mo, kinondense mo, sinamarize mo. Okay? So, para at least, syempre, when you present something at first, At kailangan hindi masyadong maraming babasahin. Lalo kung wala silang time na or hindi mo kagad binigay sa kanila yung full proposal na maraming pages. Ito, maganda to sa mga on the spot. Here's my concept paper about this project. So, this is all about. Okay, nung project mo or ng thesis mo. Okay? So, second, it helps determine whether a certain project is feasible or not. Okay? At thirdly, it is used to pick the interest of the potential funding agency. So, okay, that's good. Now, remember, hindi lahat sila, lalo mga businessmen and women, have more time to read papers. Okay? Napaka-busy nila at sobrang struggle sila sa pagbabasa. Kaya napakalagang concept paper. 1 to 3 pages lang. Scan lang. Tapos very simple pa. Tapos kita mo na kagad. So, yun na. At makakuha mo agad yung interest nila or disinterest nila kapag hindi nila nagustuhan. And finally, it is used to obtain informal feedback on the ideas prior to preparing the full proposal. So there are 3 ways explaining a concept. Number 1 is definition. Explain the concepts, ideas, and issues. So formally, and extended definition. So through words, meaning of the words. Number 2, explication. Explanation of a particular text taken from literary or academic work in a detailed way. So, that's explication. Alam ka, sabi ng expert, sabi niya, ganito, ganyan. Okay? So, the author says, the researcher says, mga ganon. Okay? And then, clarification, explanation points are organized from a general abstract idea to specific and concrete examples. Kaya kina-clarify. From the abstract na tingin mo pa lang. Okay. At pagdating sa clarification, okay na. Okay, ito na nga yan. Linaw na. So, the parts of a concept paper, it is usually ranges from 500 to 2,000 words. And it is usually divided into several parts. Okay? So, konti lang. Kasi nga, sabi ko nga sa inyo, lalo sa mga Filipinos, okay, most of us, and most of the businessmen and women do not have a time to read a lot. Okay, so as much as possible, maiksi lang ang ating ginagawa. It may also vary depending on the nature of the project or the activity. Depende. Pwede siyang mas mataas pa or mas mababa. 2 outlines of a concept paper. So, number 1, concept paper for a project. May dalawang klaseng concept paper. Kaya, kanina, kung napapansin ninyo, sabi ko, is either a thesis or a project proposal. But ito yung content. Makikita natin sa concept paper ng project. It has a cover page, it has an introduction, it has a rationale or background, it has a project description, it has a project needs and costs. Okay? So, syempre, dahil nga project yan, kailangan meron niyang budget. Okay? Saan mo kukunin yung receipts at yung disbursements. Okay? At ano yung outcome, ano yung expected mong income, at ano yung mga possible na pagkakitaan, okay? Or magkano kikitain, okay? So, yeah, for example is that, that's the cover page, say the name of the proponents and their affiliations, say the address, contact numbers, and emails, address of the opponents, say the head of the agency, contact information, state the date of submission. So, the introduction is all about the information of the agency, mission of the agency, and other agencies. The rationale or the background, the problems to be solved, and the project's significance. The project description is the goals and objectives, methodology, how will you do it, okay, or conduct it, the timeline, gaano katagal, and the benefits, okay? The project needs and costs, the outline of the main budget, justify how the budget will be used, list of equipment needed for the project. So, kailangan yan. So, yun yung common, ito yung 5 common na parts ng concept paper on a project. So, for example, yan, title of the project, sponsoring agency, world health organization, executive agency, and then description with justification, papaliwanag, okay? And then, yun yung example ng concept paper, not the project, okay? So, yan, purpose, the description, objectives, and methodology, right? Now, let's proceed to the concept paper for academic research. Ito yung thesis. Okay? Before it became a thesis or becomes a thesis, concept paper muna. Right? Para, kumbaga, magpo-propose ko pa lang, once approved, dun mo pa lang siya gagawin. Okay? So, the title, the background of the study, the preliminary literature review, the statement of the problem or objectives, the abridged methodology, the timeline, and of course, the references. So, how to write a concept paper? Let's proceed to this one that I got from infographics. How to write a concept paper. Okay, this is not mine. I just borrowed it from Google. So, credits to the owner. Now, first, write down the research questions. Okay, ano ba yung mga tanong sa research? Isulat nyo muna. You can come up with as many questions as possible. The more the questions, the longer your research paper will be, as it will seek to answer each of them. Kaya sa concept paper, usually limited lang to 3 or 4 ang research questions, because the more questions, the longer your research paper will be, kasi lahat yung sasagutin mo eh. Kaya, ano lang, find the main problem and then huwag masyadong marami yung questions, of course, and then focus only to the main problem. Okay? Now, develop a research hypothesis. Laging may ganito. The hypothesis is what you will either prove or disprove when the research is done, and therefore be able to draw your conclusion. Because you are going to draw your conclusion from the hypothesis. Okay, so you have to develop a research hypothesis. Okay, is there a significance, relationship or difference between this and that? Okay, so mga ganun. And then gather the data. Of course, you have to do this. You have to gather the data. Lalo na kung ito ay a thesis for academic research, you need to gather the data. And of course, ganoon din sa project proposal, project concept paper. You need to gather data about your target audience, about your society, and everything that is included in your project proposal. Now, next is about the presented data. Come up with conclusive and tangible evidence to prove or disprove all the hypotheses you had stated earlier. So, represent mo yung data. This is our data, these are my respondents, these are my target audience. 1 out of 10 of the population says that, 2 out of 10 of the population says that, and then so on and so forth. So, that's the data. It's tangible. Ibig sabihin talagang mahawakan. Ibig sabihin talagang hindi lang siya concept. Okay? So, talagang siya ay real, okay? Real person. Now, another guidelines in writing concept paper for a project. So, cost and methodology should be reasonable, of course. The budget, methodology, and timeline should be clearly aligned. Use statistics and figures when discussing the rationale for the project. And use no more than 5 pages or single space, excluding the cover page. Do not overwhelm the readers with details. So, limit natin yung concept paper sa 5 pages. Now, never request funding for planning the proposal. Okay, never request funding for planning the proposal. So, that's the proposal pa lang. Huwag mo nang humingi ng pondo. Ano pa lang. So, you just state yung receipts. Okay? Saan nyo makukunin. Pero not necessarily kukunin nyo na doon. Okay, pa-propose pa lang. Adjust your language to the intended readers. So, just like I said earlier, it must be understood by not so average, and even an above average person. Okay? Now, be sure that include the overview of the budget if it's required, lalo kung project proposal yan. Be sure that the basic format details such as page numbers are incorporated, and of course, cite your references. You should cite that. Now, here's the example of a research paper for academic research. So, yan, yung parang thesis niya. Okay, so that's the title page, the cover page. Now, let's proceed sa ating weekly assessment, and this is just very easy because probably next week I'm going to give you an activity on how to write a concept paper, a simple concept paper. But for now, I want you to identify the following. I want to check your understanding, right? If the statement shows an effective way of writing a concept paper, and N if not. So EN. So this is not TF. This is E and N. Alright? So Rhino fails to indicate the page number in his concept paper. Is it effective or not? Andrew included the literature review for the concept paper he made for his term. E or N. Gerald includes in the references all journals he used but excludes the books he cited. E or N. Thea made her timeline independent from the details in the methodology. Yana requested a budget from the funding agency in the preparation of the concept paper. Shari states her objectives in the methodology section. Maxine sticks to one format every time she submits concept paper to various funding agencies. Ellie uses data from government agencies to prove the existence of a problem that she and her team would like to address. Iris clarified the working definition of the concept. She is preparing to ensure that the reader understood it properly. And when Teresa knew that her target readers are lay persons, she defined the technical terms that she used in the concept paper. So you just write letter E if it's effective or N if not. Okay? On how to write a concept paper effectively. Now, this is again English for academic and professional purposes. If you have any